Now 6 o'clock. Tammy. I'll try to talk loud. 6 o'clock, we'll call this February 12th County Council meeting to order. We'll start off first with the Pledge of Allegiance. Sorry, we'll start with invocation by Vice Chairman Carroll, followed by the pledge.
Let's pray. Our precious Heavenly Father, I thank you for the opportunity tonight to be here. I thank you for all those that have shown up, participate. Lord, we thank you for the beauty of our community and of the rain that you blessed us with today. We ask that everything we discuss, all the decisions we make, the discussions be pleasing in your sight, that we make the decisions that we should, that will glorify your name. Lord, we ask your protections on us tonight. Give us safe travels home and bless everyone who's in attendance. In your precious and holy name I pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First, we have approval of the agenda. Have a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion by Ms. Rankin, second by Ms. Clark. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? And I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. Up next, we have approval of the minutes. We have one group from January 8th, our regular session, as well as from our special call meeting on December 5th. Motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes of January 8th, 2023 regular session, as well as the December 5th, 2023 special call meeting.
Second. I have a motion by Mr. Carroll, second by Mr. Tribble. Are there any additions or deletions to the minutes? Here now, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right. 7-0. Up next, we have a special recognition. I'll call on Building Codes Director, say a few words if you don't mind.
Okay.
I put you on the spot. I didn't tell you I was going to do that.
That's okay. So the special recognition is for one of our employees, who just recently retired at the end of January. Matt Brown was with the county for 21 years. He worked for the first building official through 4 total building officials, including myself. 21 years of service with the county after being in the Marine Corps and having his own business, he can air commercial contractor. So his expertise and knowledge will be missed, but we'll do our best to try and fill it forward.
Thank you. I see several of his coworkers in the back, and I see one of them shedding some tears back there. Mac's been with us for a long time, and his service has been greatly appreciated. He's seen a lot of things come and go, a lot of ordinances passed and revisited and changed, and we're going to miss him. I know he was a staple in that office and a source of knowledge for you and your team, and we wish him well in his retirement and his endeavors. And I will make a motion that we acknowledge the certificate of community gratitude for Mac Manley Brown. Is there a second? Second by Ms. Anderson. And Tor already pretty much read it. So I'm going to give this to you. If you give it to him, and thank him on our behalf. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Council.
All right. Up next, we have public comments. Couple sign-ups this evening. Yeah, I cannot read your last name, but Miss Susan from Cross Hill. You'll step up to the podium and state your name and.
Hi, my name is Susan Schrainer. I'm from Parsdale. And, I was just advised, that, Lawrence County, has taken away the, EMT or ambulance from Cross Hill and has moved it to Clinton. Is that correct?
Don't normally do question and answer.
Oh,
We don't normally do question and answer, but I'd be glad to elaborate on that topic if you would like to.
okay, well, like I said, I believe that that is the case and why, I don't know why that has happened because in our community, we do have a lot of elderly, families or elderly couples that live there. And, we need our EMT and we definitely need an ambulance service there. And I'm hoping that I can persuade you to reinstate one for our area. Or bring back the one that you took. Because like I said, response time for someone to come to our homes is gonna be over 40 minutes. And then that transport from that home to the hospital is another 30 minutes. I mean, by then, that person can die. And I know as an older person myself, I'm quite worried about that whole situation. And I hope that you will reconsider doing something for us there. My other question was that the 2026, I think it is. For Lawrence County, I guess is it the bicentennial or tricentennial? That you were planning a special celebration updates to different areas of the towns to commemorate that. And I was told by our own town council that they were talking about painting some murals in our town to commemorate that, and they were hoping to have funds from grants or from Lawrence County to help make that happen. I wanted to know if there was any additional information regarding that or if we can hope to expect that will happen for us. I do appreciate your time.
Thank you. So I'll start at the end and work backwards. You'll hang out with us for a little bit. There is a wonderful young lady who will be speaking later who is from Lawrence County and happens to sit on the state committee for the Sister Centennial. I can't even pronounce that. 250. We're going to go with that. But Lawrence County is immensely excited about that event, and we have a county committee that's made up of several folks throughout the community who are working on different projects. I'll be honest, I'm not personally up to date on everything they're doing, but Ms. Coverson here in a minute might be able to elaborate on some of the ongoings here in Lawrence and even throughout the state when they come to present about a plaque here in a minute. But we would entertain looking at helping Cross Hill specifically if they had a specific ask. But I'm sure that committee as well is working through because we've given them a good chunk of money and they might have some grant opportunities just from them. As far as the EMS, and I'm sure the county administrator has some more information. And I'm the least qualified person in the room since there are two EMS directors sitting here from different counties. But in Cross Hill, we evaluate our EMS coverage at least annually, at the least sometimes biannually. It depends on what we're doing at that moment. You are correct that an ambulance. The full bus was moved from its historic location downtown Cross Hill and replaced with a ALS truck, which you mentioned EMT earlier. EMT is the bottom rung of the EMS ladder. You got EMT, BLS, ALS. So we've actually, and there were the ambulance was ALS, but you will have a faster response time, more coverage, because that truck will be stationed there 24/7. So the ambulance, whether people knew it or not, if we had a massive call in a certain area, that ambulance would get on the road and start heading towards which area might need more service, whether that be Lawrence, Clinton, Great Court, whatever that need was at the time, which actually in theory left Cross Hill without coverage. Now that wouldn't be the case because that, the QRVs will be the station there just for Cross Hill. They're not gonna be going to Great Court unless we had a mass event, don't get me wrong. And I'm sure everyone would understand that if there was a mass event that required all hands on deck, but in general operations, you'll now have a ALS certified QRV stationed, and currently it's being staffed by our shift lieutenants, which are our most experienced folks. So you should see better coverage than you have seen lately. That is the goal, but like I said, we evaluate constantly. Kevin Oldrick, our director, he is amazing, and we constantly do what's best for our citizens. Just number wise, we transport one person out of Cross Hill every 44 hours. So almost one person every 2 days. In Lawrence, in the 29360 zip code, they transport somebody every 2 hours and 15 minutes. So just to give you kind of an idea of how much transport goes on in Lawrence versus Cross Hill. That's why, and we didn't move that bus to Lawrence, but that's why we evaluate constantly. Great Court is our most growing area, Great Court Fountain Inn area, obviously. Is one of our areas to pick up, but we evaluate constantly what's best for all the citizens. And I believe personally, and I'll say this, if I was laying on the ground, I'd want that ALS QRV there first. That QRV has everything that an ambulance has in it. The only thing it can't do is transport. But when a call goes out, a mass call, the QRV is headed your way and the ambulance is right behind them. So by the time they get somebody stabilized and ready, ambulance will be there. So we haven't left you high and dry. So I don't want you to feel that we deserted Cross Hill. Like I said, we feel that putting that ALS QRV dedicated to Cross Hill is actually better coverage than the ambulance that would float in the past. But that's where we are. I'm sure the administrator got some more numbers for us during his report, but I did want to directly address your concerns on that front. And I'm gonna throw him on the bus. The EMS director here, if you don't speak with him after council, are here in the break, he can give you some more details for sure about how we do those coverage areas. I'm sure he has some heat maps and anything you'd like to look at, we'd be glad to provide that.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Up next, Miss Nancy Garrison from Fountain Inn.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak for Nancy Garrison. I just want to discuss with y'all just briefly as I can about what occurred at our last planning commission. So we had it says a minor subdivision application that came before asking for a variance not to pave a road into this area. But as you read down, and it talks about the applicant, that a newly created parcel in an approved minor subdivision. So in other words, this had actually already been approved by our technical review committee, planning department, whoever. And it had already approved this, and they brought it before the planning commission to ask for a variance to be granted for the person not to have to pave the road. And, you know, I'll give kudos to our planning commission because I believe they handled it the only way they could. But I'm just so confused as to how our planning department thought that it was okay to bring something to have a variance granted to it that had already been approved. And not only has this minor subdivision already been approved, it's already been recorded in our deeds. So I looked up different aspects of some of the ordinances, and it talks about when a plat has been recorded, such approval shall constitute an irrevocable or dedicated for the road or right of way and its improvements. And so when it came this, and I'll get to the fact it's already came before our planning commission prior to this, and was denied a variance to be granted, that somehow it comes back again in January for the same approval of a variance. And except for it was worded a little different, and they tried to say that now it's a private road. That, you know, it's not gonna constitute as a road that has to be paved and that kind of stuff, it's a private road. But it definitely constituted as a minor subdivision, because in our ordinance, it says all divisions of tract with parcel of land into 2 or more, but not less than 10 lots, building sites or other divisions for the purpose whether to immediate or future or for sale, lease, or building or development. And I really feel for this individual that's going through this, because I believe he's trying to do something really good. It's not the development he's trying to do. I think he's just been put in a hard spot. And this was approved, was stamped for the planning commission, which they never saw it. It was just our technical review committee and 911 and recorded. So now he's in a tough spot. But my point is we keep doing the same thing. I've been coming for 2 years trying to get attention to about following our own ordinances, doing the right thing. And then something like this occurs once again. So I'm just pleading with this county to start doing the right thing when it comes to planning and development. Because it's put this person in a hard spot and it's just causing more conflict, you know, as to what's going on in this county when it comes to planning and development. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. If I'm not mistaken, the reason they came back for the variance is because the county was following our ordinances. Because that an individual might not have been aware that any road over 250 feet has to be paved, because that's the mark. And if I recall, somewhere in the 5 range of where he was trying to get to, and that requires it to be paved.
Well, my
So
point
when he
was,
submitted his first application, as long as he complied with the ordinances, he was good to go. If he, yes, at some point now, I'm not gonna pretend that was in his head, if he determined that he didn't want to comply with our ordinances, then he came back and asked for a variance.
right,
That would be how that transpired.
but my point was, it came in September for him asking for the variance. It was denied because they couldn't even get, you know, a motion, a second on the motion. So it was denied in September, but yet it came back again in January, same person, same thing, they just rewrote it a little bit.
Yeah, you know, we do that here. I mean, that's how it works. All right, up next, we have reports to council. Mr. Higgs.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think you explained the EMS situation probably better than I could. You know, again, we meet as staff, Director Aldrich, and, you know, comes to my office and we talk about the numbers and we look at the heat map and the ever-growing population and call volume we're receiving. As you may recall, several months back, we had the Waterloo community here asking for expanded coverage into the Waterloo area. The heat map is showing the growing intensity in that area as well as the western part of the county. So these aren't knee-jerk reactions we make. They're very well calculated on a more frequent than not level. We try to look at them, and I'd say they bring them in about every 6 months. We take a look at them. But we adapt accordingly, and we have the numbers, and if somebody would like those specific numbers, they're welcome to approach me afterward or Director Aldrich, and we'll put those out. But you know, we take pretty much every township and community across the county, look at the amount of call volume we're receiving and our response to that to deliver the best response. So at any given time in the county, we have, I call them boxes and QRVs in my simplistic one. So again, I'm not too hip with the terminology there, but as far as the boxes go, we have about 6 in rotation in the county at any given time. As far as the QRVs go, that ALS response, we average, I think, about 5 in the county at any time. So, you know, that's a tremendous number of assets covering the approximate 720 square miles we have in this county at all times. So the response time is very well managed. It may not be the box or the QRV coming, but one of them's coming. If you pick up the phone and call 911, you have somebody on your way in a very, very expedient response. And to emphasize what you said, if it is the ALS QRV that goes out, we have a truck en route if that's what's dictated. But it isn't by happenstance. We take a very measured calculation of where we make these moves, and we try to take the fight to the battle, if that makes sense, to make sure we're responding accordingly. If anybody has any particular question, they're welcome to ask me or the EMS director at the back. We'll be glad to answer them and provide data.
Mr. Diggs, while we're on the topic of reports, could you give us a status on Lawrence County's plans for the Lawrence County website?
Oh, absolutely. We've been in contact with the company that handles a lot of our stuff with the treasurer's office, GIS. They handle that side of everything. As far as what most people are interested in, what's the fancy term? They give it a community website, what our services are, to people going to Lawrence County to see, to make up the council, you get minutes, agendas, those types of things. We're in conversation with a group that does the other end of that website as well. So they're preparing, we have a conference call with them tomorrow, we have a conference call with them. They're going to be prepared to come present to council next meeting to show, here are some of the options and show you what that website may look like. So we're in conversation with them, and we're going to get in the weeds with all the nuts, bolts, and deliver a product that we can start building on.
Thank you.
I've got one more report, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Crookshanks and I have been going back and forth, even before he decided to spend a little more time fishing, which I was kind of jealous about. One thing that's happened in the news is we have an employee that's battling a pretty severe health battle, right? So, we have several people in the crowd, my coworkers, and Mr. Daly is here being one of those examples. We've been talking a lot about potential for employees to contribute some of their sick leave, annual leave, those types of things to their coworkers that are battling those serious battles. One of those, I'm not going to repeat his name, has been very well documented in the news. He has a pretty tough battle ahead. What I'd like to propose to council, and again, welcome to talk back and forth about it, is if we can move forward with a one-time possibility of putting together an employee pool of leave to contribute to this particular employee and the family this time of need. And then on the same sheet of music, authorize me working with our legal counsel and Mr. Crookshanks, he and I have already been spitballing this back and forth as we move forward with the development of our updated employee handbook. Look at the possibility of expanding upon a policy where employees could going forward contribute their time off to help their coworkers. To me, it seems like the right thing to do. A lot of people give up a lot of time at the end of the year. We put that towards something good and helpful. So I ask council to consider that, making a one-time exception to this employee, and not only on Mr. Crookshanks, determine what that looks like, and then going forward, develop a full policy as far as any sick leave or extended bereavement, what those things would look like.
So, I believe this, we've done that in the past, a time or two, for different employees in extenuating circumstances, such as, one where good folks find themselves in now. And I believe their spouse often works for us in a different department. And I think that'll require some time as well to just take care of the other one.
The state employees have a similar plan, and that will be one to look at to see if you can work your way around that one. It has done well in the past. I don't know exactly what it's doing now, but it has addressed it in the past, and it may be some way of addressing some of the needs or concerns that some of the staff members might be facing right now.
Well, I assume you need a motion for that. So, I'll make that motion. I make a motion to authorize the administrator along with legal counsel to form a plan for the specific employee and spouse who are going through a hard time right this second, to allow other employees to contribute excess leave to that employee, and also authorize the county administrator to explore a more permanent plan in our next employee handbook.
Second.
Second by Mr.
Mr.
Chairman.
Chairman, this discussion.
Absolutely. Now we have a second. Yes, sir.
So, I'm just trying to think through what we're authorizing is simply for them to come back with a plan.
We would be authorizing him to move forward with one for the current employee and then to bring us back a more permanent plan. Have in our new employee handbook that we're currently working on revising. So we're authorizing it for this particular employee. I'm sure Mr. Higgs would be glad to share more about that particular person and their situation afterwards if you would like. But no, just for them, so it'll only be for them and their spouse today. And then hopefully we'll have the new wording in our new handbook before we have to deal with this.
I assume we'll look at how that is likely to cost the county, and we'll have some idea of how that applies across the board. I'm just trying to think through in my mind, the fairness of all of this, and I'm trying to vote for this, so don't misunderstand my comments about it. Just wondering if the county, if they get to designate who they go to, or if it's in a pool and have a group to decide, or.
Yes, sir, you were spot on. If you were just,
Some people just aren't as nice as others,
no offense, if you,
They get sick if they don't get the hours.
if you wanted to take a vacation, I'd love to leave you some time, but that's not what this is gonna be here for us to. This immediate need is to handle this one particular employee, but going forward, Mr. Cruikshanks and I have had lengthy conversations as far as establishing a framework and what that looks like, the amount of hours, the cost, and what those circumstances would be, to lay it all out in the form of a policy that we then present back to council for your input, and then we'd establish it going forward as a full policy.
Do our employees have long-term and short-term disability options, and provide some of those at our cost?
I would have to look into that. I hate to talk about benefits and stuff without knowing all the employees' packages, so.
Probably you put it to the handbook, I don't know how long it's gonna take them to do the handbook, but I just rather us to have a policy regarding that.
We can do that. I'd like to go ahead and take care of this particular employee, but instead of that waiting on the handbook, we can authorize him to
I
bring
can
it
answer
back.
that as well. So this handbook,
Take care of this individual,
Yes, ma'am.
but have a policy, an upcoming policy for the next one to happen, and not necessarily have to wait till the handbook get ready to come out. But you have a
Correct.
policy already in place that you can already look at.
so with the handbook, we're gonna eat that well one bite at a time. And so that's gonna be me bringing some policies and ideas forward, and then we culminate that in the entirety of the handbook. So instead of me just throwing a big old stack of paper at you and saying yay or nay, we want to strategically think through this thing to make sure we're looking out for the betterment of employees, generations. Hit the reset button on it and come up with modernizing a lot of things. So that'll be one policy that's gonna come to you, but we're hopefully gonna take it step by step with this.
But in that case, President, I'll amend my motion to authorize the county administrator to bring a policy back once prepared instead of waiting on the handbook.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All right, with a corrected motion. Is there any further
Is that
discussion?
restating the motion?
Sure. First, we're authorizing the county administrator, for legal counsel to come up with a policy for the current employee need and their spouse to allow county employees to transfer their unused leave time to this employee, as well as authorizing the county administrator to work with legal counsel to form a foregoing policy for the county to address those in need and transfer and leave time.
One other question, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
So is our time separated between sick leave and vacation time in any way, or is it just?
No, it's separated right now, and we're looking at that, talking about, taking things a bite at a time. We're working with other counties as well as the Association of Counties to see if there's any pros or cons to calling it PTO, to keeping it separate, what the standardization is amongst other
So
counties.
which ones of those are being banked here? Are people allowed to put up their sick leave in support of somebody else? Are they putting up their vacation time and health.
That's one thing that we're gonna have to work together and we're gonna specify which one, if not one or the other, and formulate that in the form of a policy. I'll be working with Mr. Crookshanks on that to make sure we're well in line with the law, because again, you're talking about a form of compensation at the same time, so we wanna make sure all our bases are covered.
What are we
But
voting on?
the motion doesn't specify, it's rely on legal counsel to advise us the best option. I imagine it's gonna be for sick leave in this particular case. If we ever change our policy in the future to PTO, it'll be readdressed, but this specific point in time with our separated leave, it'll be for sick leave.
And in that motion, could we specifically put something that this is due to a medical inability to work or something related to that? If someone else had a compelling reason in the future, but it wasn't because they had a medical inability to work, it's the fact that they didn't have leave. They wanted to take leave to do something else. That becomes expansive.
That's something we'll work with council on in the formation of that policy, because again, there are a lot of circumstances and we want to really hone in on what we want to qualify circumstances.
I would ask that when y'all draft the resolution for the particular employee, that be included in there as well. And I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. Thank council. I thank our employees that are willing to sacrifice their leave time to support fellow employee. It's extremely rough time. All right. Of course. Thanks, sir. Appreciate you. Up next, we'll move into old business. Are there any council submissions for boards or committees? Here none, we'll move. Next up, we have a public hearing and third reading on ordinance 956, which addresses a land option for the Upstate Pregnancy Center. Before we open public hearing, I want to call on Ms. Brent Stewart to address council, give us any updates that may happen since we last met.
Thank you, Chairman and county council members. Since the first meeting to discuss this, we've continued our diaper drives, which are monthly and they alternate between Lawrence and Clinton. We will have our 16th monthly diaper drive tomorrow here in Lawrence. We have also had other groups and organizations interested in partnering with us to expand our services. So First Steps has offered, and they are coming to schedule drives as they can to help us to evaluate the car seat situation. So a lot of people get car seats that are old. They're not up to code or they're not installed properly. So they're working with us to help educate people about proper installation of car seats and safety for their infants. We actually see a lot of people come through who have young toddlers just sitting in the floorboard or on the seats. So there's a real need for that education. In addition to that, we have also met recently with Nightlight Christian Adoption Services, who are interested in partnering with us to create a dialogue for those who are interested in once they are pregnant, keeping the child through the delivery and then considering adoption services. So that's another area that we're working on. And then we've furthered our partnership with, or solidified, I would say, with Carolina Pregnancy Center in Spartanburg. They continue to come to our drives, and so they have on-site pregnancy testing and ultrasounds if someone qualifies and is in need for that on the spot. We have also, so January was Sanctity of Life Month. We had great interest in having updates in different churches. I personally presented at one church, and we've had a number of volunteers step up and are ready to help to lead and volunteer some of the programs that we're going to be offering as soon as we're able to open. And I will say too, that our advisory board and our board of directors are already underway planning to look at temporary options while we raise the money and build on the proposed lot. We are looking at ways to either have a temporary location or something on site or near that location where we can provide additional services in addition to the diaper drives that are already of value to some people, but already wanting to expand our services.
Are there any questions from council members?
You had asked for the elaborate more on that because I did, I don't like us to duplicate, I don't like duplication. And, so I did check with, the health department as well as DSS, what they have to offer, maternity individuals. And, it's lacking, a lot all around, not just, with the diapers and what DSS, I think DSS, they do provide some car seats. So you can tell they can build out there, you know what I mean, about it, we have some car seats. But the rest of it is nothing but, nutritional, things, and I know the mother needs a lot more help than what they are receiving during that particular time. So I appreciate you extending out a little bit, but I do want you to continue to reach out so you can make sure you really giving individuals what they need. It's always good just to have something, but if it's not meeting a need, you're not doing anything. And so, because I've been abstaining from this particular thing, but because I'm just trying to make sure that we're giving a service that is needed and that we can grow into something that's gonna be beneficial to the individuals that we serve in.
Yes, ma'am. And I will say that one of the things that I think will make this pregnancy center different than some others, that it's not just about having a place for someone to go when they find out they're pregnant, they don't know what to do, they have questions. We are here for the long haul because as a community, a rising tide lifts all boats. And so for us, it's beyond pregnancy testing and ultrasound. We want to be a support mechanism, which means including education services. So that's not just during the pregnancy period, but it's also about family, whether that family is a husband and a wife, a boyfriend and a girlfriend, whatever that dynamic looks like. We want to support that individual, that couple, whoever it is. And we want to make sure that that child entering the world too has the best potential for thriving and surviving in the world. So to do that, some of our support services, the Earn While You Learn program is going to be huge for that. So a young mother and or father can come in separated together or together, and they can take classes and they will learn, and they will earn mommy money or daddy dollars. We will have a store with new items, a little bit reduced. We don't want sticker shock when they go out and have to buy things later on their own, but they can use that play money that they've earned to buy their child something. And sometimes it may be the first thing they've ever done on their own for their child. So there's a sense of empowerment there. In addition to that, one of the programs that we will have will be the Dad to Dad program. It is our belief very strongly that a father has a strong role in raising a child, whether they're together in a home or separate. We want to make sure that dads are equipped to be fathers to children as well. So there will be a program to support mothers, and there will be a program to support fathers. It takes two to create that child. We want two people to have the equal footing to try to raise that child in the best possible circumstances. And then ultimately, if we are successful in that, we are empowering the mother and the father, the family unit, and then we as a community all benefit from that as well. And so does the child, of course.
We have a public hearing and then we'll do third reading. So the time is now 6:38. I will open the floor for public hearing on ordinance 956, which is an ordinance to authorize the administrator to enter into a lease option purchase real estate with the Take Pregnancy Center. If you'd like to speak, please step forward and state your name. Council. Seeing no one, we will close public hearing. Now I'll open the floor for a motion for third and final reading of ordinance 956.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Tribble. Second by Mr. Carroll. Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'll just state, as I did at the previous two readings, due to my involvement on the board of this wonderful organization, ethically I'll have to abstain.
thank you for your service on that board. Any other discussion? Well, I'd just like to tell the story. Thank you. I appreciate your dedication to this. This is a much needed avenue in Lawrence, and I'm glad we were able to find a space for you and look forward to what you and your organization will do for years to come. All those in favor of third and final reading of ordinance 956, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 6-0 to 1. Councilman Runyon abstention. Up next, I'll call Ms. Finley. Appreciate you being with us tonight. The first one up is Joanna Solar, Philo, formerly known as Project Joanna. Would you tell us any changes on that particular project?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman and council. I would just like to mention that this is a solar project that is located just north of Joanna. There have been no changes to this project after, since the first and second reading.
All right, power cost 37.5 million.
It's 37.5 million investment, so the county would realize approximately 168,000 in FELO payment.
With this, we're going to open the floor for public hearing. 6:41. Anyone wishing to speak on ordinance 957, which is approving FELO for Joanna Solar LLC? Please step forward and state your name. Seeing no one, we will close public hearing. I will open the floor for a motion for third and final reading of ordinance 957.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Gribble, second by Mr. Carey. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. All right. Make you up, down, up, down. Next is ordinance 958, which is Yorkshire Holdings LLC, for their.
Yes, thank you, Ken. This is another solar project that is coming to the Joanna area. This one is actually south of Joanna, near Woodyard Road, which is down past West Fraser, formerly known as Northwood. This investment is $45 million, and that is approximately $202,000 in FELO payment annually. And again, there have been no changes since the first and second readings for this project.
It's 6:42. We will open the floor for public hearing on ordinance 958, Yorkshire Holdings LLC. FELO. Let's speak, step forward. Seeing no one, we will close public hearing. And I will open the floor for third and final reading of ordinance 958, Yorkshire Holdings LLC. FELO. Motion by Mr. Carroll, second by Mr. Burke. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. Up next is public hearing on ordinance 959, which is placing Joanna Solar LLC and Yorkshire Holdings LLC, the multi-county industrial park. They are going in Octagon 1. Placing Joanna Solar and Yorkshire Holdings into Octagon 1. I'll now open the floor. It is 6:43 for public hearing on ordinance 959. If you'd like to speak, please step forward. Everybody shot. Seeing no one, we will close public hearing. I'll open the floor for third and final reading of ordinance 959, placing Joanna Solar LLC and Yorkshire Holdings LLC into the Octagon multi-county industrial. Motion by Mr. Rumpf, second by Mr. Carey. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. All right, now I'll call it. Up next, we have second reading on ordinance 960, which is Project Hunter Industrial Park. Is for the building FELO.
That is correct. This is in Hunter Industrial Park within Lawrence city limits. And this is for the spec building that is being built by a private developer. It's at 620,000 square feet. And there have been no changes to this project since the first reading.
Are there any questions from Ms. Finley on this? If you have not seen it yet, I encourage you to ride through the Hunter Industrial Park. It's an amazing facility. Space, they poured that concrete quickly too, I might add, but it looks a lot different than it did just 6 weeks ago, so I encourage you to check it out. Do I have a motion to approve on second reading ordinance 960, the Project Hunter Industrial Park building?
61,
960.
960, I'm sorry.
We have a motion by Ms. Anderson,
Second.
second by Ms. Clark. Is there any discussion? I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. Now we have 961. So second reading on ordinance 961, which will place the Project Hunter Industrial Park building into the Hunter Industrial Park, multi-county industrial park. Do I have a motion for second reading on ordinance 961? Motion by Ms. Clark. Second by Mr. Carroll. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes 7-0. I'd just like to thank Ms. Finley and her team over at Lawrence County Development Corporation for all the hard work to do. They bring these projects here, and we are excited to see them come to fruition. Thank you for all of you. All right, we'll move into new business. First, we have first reading of ordinance 962 by title only to secure funding for county facilities. I'm gonna call on the county administrator to elaborate on that for us.
Yes, sir. This is the first step. We met previously about securing funding for capital improvements within the county, particularly the historic courthouse and our emergency operations center that we draw plans for. This will be the first step in moving forward those plans as advised by finance. So we have to pass this right here.
I'll open the floor for a second and we'll have some discussion. Motion on for first reading of ordinance 962.
I make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Carroll. Second by Ms. Anderson. Is there any discussion? Good. I know we've had several extensive meetings surrounding this particular thing, so we've had plenty of time to talk about it, but I appreciate the administrator and his staff for all their hard work and due diligence with meeting with attorneys and bond counsels and everybody in between to get us to this point. We look forward to bringing us back some more as we continue down this path. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, also call on the county administrator again to go over with us ordinance 963, ordinance first control property from the Nature Conservancy. And you call on whoever you need.
Yes, sir. This is just a continuation on our Parks and Recreation Director, Andy Howard, presented a proposal several months back about a tract of land down in the Joanna area that we're looking to acquire to add as a conservation effort, as well as outdoor resource for Lawrence County residents and those visitors. It's approximately 335 acres. Previous council authorization allowed Director Howard and myself to negotiate up to, I believe, $250,000, to potentially acquire that land. And I want to brag on our Parks and Recreation Director. He's great at what he does. And right now he has them somewhere around 125,000 for that tract of land. And he's probably going to keep beating them up if I know him. But anyway, this will be the first step in acquiring that land with the first reading. I would additionally ask council for authorization to enter in some type of letter of intent contingent upon those 3 readings. So we can go ahead and show them, hey, we're interested in it, we're going to move forward with it, but it does take 3 readings. But that's what we have.
All right, let's approve this ordinance first, and then we'll approve the resolution authorizing you and LOI. So do I have a motion for first reading ordinance 963, which will begin the process of purchasing real property from the Nature. Motion by Mr. Dibble, second by Mr. Ryan. Is there any other discussion? If not, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. And then in addition to that, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the county administrator to enter into a letter of intent to purchase the property, pending third and final reading of this ordinance. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Carroll. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. All right. Now some fun stuff. We'll call on Ms. Diane Coverson to come forward. We have a resolution, the Sullivan Duncan chapter, daughters of the American Revolution, like to present a plaque to the county.
Our Daughters of the American Revolution is worldwide, and our National Society wants to put up bronze markers to recognize the 250th anniversary of the American Revolution. Our state society is going to put up about 20 of these bronze markers all around the state on the Liberty Trail. And our chapter, Sullivan Duncan chapter, Joy Sullivan, is our president, and Sarah Jane Armstrong is in our group. Lynn Finley also. We have raised $5,000 to buy this bronze marker. We'd like your permission to place it on the courthouse square. It's a 30 by 24 bronze marker. And we would have dedication ceremony. And it is to recognize those patriots who have come before and make our country.
All right, thank you. As you and I have already discussed, and as everybody well knows, we're doing some construction at the courthouse, and like we'll tell in a minute. I would love for y'all to be able to have that ceremony and present the flag, but it might be a little while before we get it up. So we're doing renovations, and that also includes a renovation of the entire grounds on the property. But we have I believe in the landscape plan that was presented to the administrator a couple of weeks ago, it has a space just for you. Because we knew that was coming, and wanted them to make sure that there was room for that, for council's knowledge, where they put it right now. There's a little elongated island of grass in the center on the north side of the courthouse. We have one plaque there for our historic courthouse marker. The plan shows those plaques going perpendicular with the courthouse on either side of that aisle, which I think is a good place. The gentleman that's designed that's phenomenal. So I think he knows what he's doing, but that's where it would most likely go. We can decide which one goes on which side, but those two spaces have been reserved for pole markers. We have one there already, so we would want that to be there. And allow the Sullivan American Revolution to put their 250th to celebrate here in a couple of years. Look forward to everything else that y'all are doing. County, we thank you for all you do at the state level too.
Okay.
Are there any questions? Or none, I will call for a motion to approve resolution 2024-2C.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Trimmer. Second by Ms. Clark. Is there any further discussion?
Idea. I don't have anything against that in scope. But I want us to make sure that we making sure where we putting stuff. I want, because we've gotten into trouble before. So I'm just trying to make sure I'll keep everything down without us being fighting. So I want us to make sure when we making our outline and our, spacing, our
Yes, and we're working on.
yard work, that we doing it so we can make sure we are putting things in place where they need to be, and not so that we are conflicting with other stuff we have on the ground.
That's a great point. We're in the process of designing the green space and everything that goes along with that. That'll be proposed to council when those designs are drawn up. I like to bring tangible and visual drawings for you to see and kind of visualize things rather than us just talking about it. So I expect to bring those in sooner than later. I'm waiting on him to do his artwork and bring it to us. So as soon as I get it, you'll have it.
We will have final approval on where they go, and I let Ms. Robertson and Ms. Babb know on these projects that we're still in discussion on where they're going to land. So we're not committing tonight on a specific point in the ground, but we will before it's over with. All right, we'll now take a vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. Thank you, Ms. Ellis. And all the folks, I appreciate y'all coming out and joining us tonight. Up next, Ms. Babb. Ms. Babb's coming, Lawrence Rotary celebrated their 100th year of service last year. They had a wonderful ceremony, and I'm excited to hear Ms. Babb tell us a little more about what they have going on.
Yes, we put up a bronze plaque at the park. The Rotary Club years ago, like maybe 2005, built the brick opening gateway to the park. And then we put up a bronze plaque recognizing Rotary International, which it was their 100th birthday. Recently, we put up a bronze plaque on the other column of that gateway, recognizing the Rotary Club of Lawrence for its 100th year. In addition to that, what we want to do a time capsule on county property, courthouse property. I got two here. I'll let you be able to see what it says. It's blue granite cap on this time capsule, and that'll be exactly what the cap's gonna say. Recognizes the 100th anniversary of the Rotary Club of Lawrence, and it dictates when this capsule will be open 50 years from that date. And so our request is for approval to place this there. We will handle putting it in, we'll handle covering it. The cap was done by Wilson Memorials, and it's finished and ready to go. This is blue granite. Club is part of the International, Rotary International. We do lots of stuff. We do local charities and that kind of thing. The international stuff. Biggest project. Rotary International is elimination of polio worldwide. And that started a number of years ago, and we spent collectively lots of money to make that happen. Locally, we do a lot of things. One of them is we recognize the top 10 students in the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grades every year. We send a kid to Erskine, to the Rotary Leadership Institute. We do backpacks every week for kids that need a little extra help for the weekend. We read frequently to elementary schools. I have books and do a lot of stuff. We make some outright cash contribution to some of the charities in the county. Our club is 50 strong. It is a very diverse club, which is required by our Rotary International, that we have people from different walks, different businesses. I have the Chamber of Commerce president. We have several attorneys, Tommy Thompson. We have businesses, united. We have categories, and we fill those categories up. So the club itself is very diverse, and we're making a real contribution here. Over the last 100 years, we've done quite a bit. 1 year, Andy left, but one of our members was 1 year county attorneys, but Thomas Babb. And one of them we really well remember quite a bit about is John Ferris, president of Arch Glass Plant, and the one out, but I won't. But we're asking permission to put this on the square.
Talk a little bit about the cylinder you have in your arm there.
This cylinder, well, if you want to if you got a business card or something, like you put one in here. Our members are putting stuff in here. I think Brown has already put something in here. I put a 1923 piece silver dollar. That was the year that this club started, was chartered. And 100 years ended November the 3rd of this past year. This is stainless steel, rated for over 100 years. capstone on it yet, the bottom's on it. We already have a good bit of stuff in here from our members. We'd like you to put some in here. Business card. Your card, yeah, right on there, some of your grandkids. Some of them will still be around in 50 years. I won't be, my grandkids will be around. There'll be instructions for the Rotary Club 50 years from now, open this. Yeah, is, I'm talking about land. What it is. Yeah, is that's what you're looking at. 28 inches by 16 inches and 4 inches thick. It'll be flush to the ground. You won't be able to see it unless you walk up on it and look straight down. So it won't be blocking anything. You just got grass if you still have grass up there. Anyway, I'd answer any questions you might have.
Are there any questions from council before?
I'll comment. I'm gonna vote for this in spite of the fact that I'm the incoming president of the Clinton Rotary Club, because this is for the Lawrence Rotary Club, and I don't see that as a conflict of interest. To add to what Joe has said, that the international organization is something quite a bit to be proud of. That the Lawrence the Rotary International Foundation is probably the world's most effective method of giving money anywhere. That Warren Buffett and Bill Gates choose to give their money through the Rotary Foundation because they can give it away more effectively than they can doing it by themselves. So the Rotary Foundation puts the money away, as my understanding, it stays there for 3 years and draws interest, and then 100% of it goes to the charity for which it's designated. And so that's the way you run a charity, ladies and gentlemen. I intend to vote for this, and I'd like both of you want to make the motion.
Anybody else?
I really just wanted to say something about Mr. Dale.
Absolutely.
But he used to be on county council, you know. So I happen to want to come up and sit with us tonight.
You didn't ask me that, and I declined. I had 8 years, and sitting in history. I'm retired. I got your opinion, all of your opinion. This is the centennial 100th anniversary Rotary pin for our club. I'll give them the one.
All right, and I just want to say thank you. I think I attended my first Lawrence Rotary meeting when I was in the 3rd grade, if I recall. And I've had, I also blessed to be sent by the organization to Ryla at Erskine. That was probably one of the best experiences of my high school career. I still have folks from that I talked to today. It's an amazing event. Anyone who has a rising senior in high school, I encourage you to look into the Rotary Youth Leadership Award program and get them to it. It is a phenomenal thing. Also, as you know, I was a member of Rotary for a few years for my job took me away, and I can't be there Thursday at 1 o'clock anymore. But it's a wonderful club, lots of caring people, and they do tremendous things for this community. I appreciate your service to the club and what you're doing here tonight. And just a reminder for council too, we haven't picked where this is going. It'll probably most likely be in the northeast corner of the square in that grassy area. Mr. Higg mentioned they're still working on all the placements of the different flags and whatnot. The only thing that is a staple that will not move anywhere, all the monuments, they will not be moving. They will get some facelifts and some new concrete and some better access and some better protection. I'm looking forward to that final plan that will help us preserve our monuments as well as highlight some of these community items that we have. We have several other time capsules on the square. I encourage you. I know Watts Mill has one up there. The Jay-Z's have one up there, and I encourage you to, if you're out for a leisurely stroll, take a look at all the different time capsules we already have there on the courthouse grounds.
Let me say this, having said where you are as a member, vice chair, and chair, I really appreciate what you do. It's not the easiest job in the world. And sometimes it's controversial, but I really appreciate it. all of you, what you do for Lawrence County.
Thanks, sir. All right, I will call Mr. Tribble, make a motion to approve resolution 2024-3C.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman, proud.
Motion by Mr. Tribble, and I will second that one. And I will, I'm sure there's no further discussion. Call for a vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. Congratulations. Thank you. All right, up next, we have county council comments. I'll start on my right, Ms. Clark.
No comments tonight, thank you.
Mr. Ryan.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Actually have quite a few things to bring up tonight. Some sad news first. Well, let me wait for Mr. Dagger to finish.
Sorry, just maybe.
But as I was saying, I had a little bit of sad news to share. Just 3 days after our January county council meeting, a good friend of mine was actually one of the first people to support me publicly for county council in my district. Tom Stevenson passed away on January 11th. Was one of the most active members of our Parks and Rec committee here in the county. He's also been a stalwart figure in Hickory Tavern. Ran the community pages out there. As I said, just a good friend. He passed away unexpectedly January 11th. So I just want to remember him tonight. And then also turning to more exciting things, Mr. Higgs, I appreciate you giving an update on the Lawrence County website. I am very passionate about making sure that we are a transparent county and that people, constituents are able to easily access information on our website. And, personally, I've even had some difficulty retrieving some information on our website. And so looking forward to hearing back next meeting about some of the things that we're going to be doing facelift and make things easier for our citizens. Also, with the new budget season coming up, it's just around the corner. We're going to be meeting with department heads and going through that whole thing again. It's always a very challenging time of the year, also very exciting. A lot of good things are happening. And it's also, just real quick, just want to plug our Lawrence County Development Corporation for all that they're doing to bring in new industry. You heard all the numbers tonight, all the FILO revenue that the county will receive on an annual basis. Those numbers are huge and impactful for us to be able to address a lot of the county's needs. One of those needs that I will be advocating for during the season is for our Veteran Affairs Department. Carrie Bolton, see you back there. First of all, thank you all for what you do for our Lawrence County veterans. They work their tails off for our veterans, and they are in need of a new position out there. So I'll be advocating for that position in this budget cycle. So, and all of our department heads, I'm looking forward to working with all of you guys. There's a lot of needs, and I think with this body that we have up here, it is an honor to serve with everyone up here because we know how to work together to get things done. And I've just never seen a council work so cohesively together to accomplish a common goal. So I'm excited about that. And then lastly, I'm sure most of you have probably seen the fact that I have announced my candidacy for State House District 14. So if I am honored to have your vote, I will look forward to representing District 14 and the great county of Lawrence in Columbia starting next year. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Going back to the comments earlier about the EMS presence at Cross Hill, that I too came with my thoughts together about all that, and that we're moving things around. We've got one EMS station that we're rebuilding in Lawrence. The city of Clinton is rebuilding the location where one of them is being housed. So we've got some permanent improvements going on in the way we've been doing things. But ultimately, it's still just a matter of skilled people and equipment making it to the point of attack whenever that comes. And that I want to remind council of how effectively, to Luke's point, we did work a year and 2 years ago. That during my 6 years on council, ending 10 years, or I guess now 14 years ago, see, Joe and I go back 50 years, so I don't know how 50 years that long. I thought we were gonna leave that time capsule in for 100. But 50 is not that much to me anymore, but just don't call me Joe. But so that we properly funded the EMS. The EMS had been 10 people short chronically. I mean, for 20 years, it was 10 people short. And that we finally realized that that was a reflection of how we were compensating them, and we fixed it. And so we might have one position open at any given time, and that's normal turnover. We might have two, but we don't have 10 all the time forever. And so we have the kind of resources out there, and 11 different tools to respond is enough if we say it's enough. I mean, it's more than we've ever had. It's better by far. I mean, it's better by a factor of 2 than we've had in the past. And that I think that, to Luke's earlier point, is a reflection of the council's ability to work together and try to really get on top of that, because the good people of Cross Hill do deserve to have their needs responded to, and so do the people of Clinton and Joanna. So anyway, I'm proud of you guys for that, and we are making progress in it, both in our physical plant, our number of we bought a couple of ambulances at substantial expense. In fact, the ones we had ordered weren't coming in, and we bought them on the spot when they became available. So I just want to remind council, in the presence of our constituents, that we've been on top of this, and we've been pushing it forward and actually making some documentable progress on it. I appreciate the council's participation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ms. Youngs. Sam.
Me too. I must, because I'm sitting next to you. Last evening, my team won. I don't know about you. My team won. So for those who are losing, I feel sorry for you. But on another note, February is Black History Month. And I just want to share a person who has been a mentor for me and a friend with you all. Some of you all might know the person, some of you might not, but her name is Hattie Shan Suber. She was a teacher at Clinton High. She also became the assistant principal there. She also served on the school board, School District 56 as a trustee. She was a nice lady. She was just gracious as she could be. She was actively involved in a lot of civic opportunities, and she loved her Greek organization, the Zayas. She also was a recipient of the Henry Lawrence Award here, and we gave her for the service that she had given to the community. And I just wanted to share that with you. And she's a gracious person. She opened up her house to you, and many people came to her. So I just wanted to share one of my mentors with you during this Black History Week. And there's somebody out there that might, a lot more people have influenced my life, and she's just one of them. And I want to make sure that somebody's influencing everybody's life as we move through this earth. We connect in some way, form, or fashion. And so I just wanted to share that with you. And thank you for giving me that time. I won't take any more. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Mr. Carroll.
Yeah, briefly, thank you. I want to congratulate Luke on his opportunity as he's going to run for the State House. And I do want to thank our department heads, specifically our EMS department heads, on making changes that are for the betterment of the county. And often the citizens don't understand what happens. Maybe we don't communicate well enough. They don't understand what happens when things change. And I will guarantee that there is thought in every change that happens, and it's based on the needs of an entire community, an entire county of 75,000 people who need that same service. And it's a scarce, limited resource that everybody in their lives might need at some point or in time. But we only have a limited number of resources, so we look at where we need to put those so that the response times are equal for everyone. That everyone equally gets the same kind of service, whether you're very rural or you're urban. And that may at times require us to move assets to a different location than we had originally set them up when we were 20% smaller, or we ran 20% fewer responses. So everything that's done is with thought and with the intent to provide the same level of great service to all. And so I just want to give assurances on that.
Thank you, sir. And I said my comments on the EMS earlier. I do want to elaborate on Mr. Tripple's comments, but I do think that council's done a great job at funding the EMS department better. Also give a nod to leadership, Kevin, you and your team, for us being full. I think there's money says a lot, but I think your leadership with our employees say a lot. This is great. We heard over and over again how short we are. We can't fill them up. We need to do this. We need to do that. You know, we got so many applications. I mean, they're stacking high, which is great. And people want to come work here. It's you know, you're doing something right when people want to come and not just get paychecks. So thank you and Rick, and all your folks for all that you do. And I'll also thank Mr. Carroll. We are immensely blessed council to have another EMS director on our council. Give us insight on when work. Sometimes you get in a bubble and get blinded by what's happening right in front of you, and you don't think about the outside. And having another thought process and something that Kevin can rebound off of, and everybody can talk through and come up with the best solution for Lauren, major plus. For the time you dedicate to that when things arise. We do have a note here. I think council's seen it all. One of our staff members lost a loved one recently, and they sent us thank you note for support in that time, and our prayers are with them. Just elaborate too on it is Black History Month. I encourage you to research something you haven't researched before. Something I do with my son who's in second grade is I try to pick a lesser known figure, and we all studied Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, and many others through school systems, but there's a lot of other folks out there that are very important in the civil rights movement and before. And I encourage you maybe to pick somebody that you've never done a lot of research on and read up and learn something new. We can always learn something new, no matter how old we are. That's all I have for tonight. We do have one item listed here for executive session, human resources matter related to the legal department. Do I have a motion to enter into executive session?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Rankin,
Second.
second by Ms. Clark. All those in favor, please raise your right. 7-0, time is 7:15. We will enter an executive session at 7:25.
Nice to meet you. Have good.
Good. All right. Thank you all for staying with us. Time is now 8:14, and I will call, this county council meeting back to regular session. County council met in executive session to discuss, human resources matter in the legal department. No action was taken in executive session, but I will now open the floor if there are any motions to be made.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move that the council authorize the county administrator to proceed and complete the hiring process for county attorney.
I have a motion by Mr. Tribble. Second by Mr. Youngs. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed? Motion passes 6-1. Councilman Rankin in opposition. Are there any other motions to be made this evening? I'll call for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Rankin. Second by Mr. Karen. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 7-0. Thank you.